Good evening, infidels. Slip your
tried to
damn
go for the
teeth
long
in
sip.
damn louder. Jesus. Sound like
I tried to go for the long sip. Didn't work out too well.
Yeah, you're just trying to be damn obnoxious. Good. Glad you
Good
choked on it.
evening, everyone. Son of a bitch. I'm good to go, folks. I'm not choking.
Stand down, medic. We're good. Stand down, blue team. Stand down, blue team. What's going on, everybody?
Oh, man.
Welcome back to our little passion project that we call Battle Bros Podcast. My name is Mac. This guy, the choke artist, over here. This is Alamo. I heard so to go with the times. I heard something today that just gave me a giggle. Before we get into this, I have to share this.
Did you have a case of the giggles?
So everybody, listen. So it's July 12th, 2024, and for the past month, everybody has been dealing with the ramifications, social media wise. Yes, of that. And the guy said, "This guy said, listen, man, don't go down that road. If she don't do the hot tour, you don't need to talk to her." And I was like,
there was one. There was one I saw. It was
for a few minutes. I was like, "What in the shit?"
There was one I saw that it had me freaking absolutely dying. You know how they've been doing these like little public announcements from Skeletor? Well,
yeah.
One was apparently a guy, had the riding a motorcycle, had the Skeletor head superimposed on the freaking face of his helmet.
Right.
And it goes, roses are red, violets are blue. She's a keeper if she hot tour. Spit on that thing. Until we meet again. And he stood up on the bike.
It's amazing what will get notoriety nowadays. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, that don't surprise me. So anyway, back on track. So if you've never seen our show before, Alamo and I are two friends from high school. We both served during the Global War on Terrorism, or the GWAT, as we like to call it.
The GWAT.
The GWAT. The GWAT. Whereas Alamo was active duty and went to Iraq, I spent some time in the National Guard and went to Afghanistan. So we kind of have a little bit of the both ends of the spectrum kind of covered when it comes to experiences in the military, all that good stuff. So we get on here, we talk about things relating to the military, the veteran, the first responder communities. Sometimes difficult conversations to have. Other times it's might not be as difficult, but we talk about shit that's important to us. So we'll kind of give you the rundown of how all this got started and the progenesis and the of how this all got put together and whatnot. So first, before we get any further, if you haven't done so, please feel free to go on any one of our social media pages. We have Facebook, we are on X, Instagram, the whole 9 yards. Check out, just search Battle Bros Podcast. If you like what you see, give us a like, follow, subscribe, share with your friends, all that good stuff. Because remember, sharing is caring. But yeah, we are almost at the end of our fourth season, and I would dare to say that we have gained a little bit of notoriety, not enough to make our heads swell up. I mean, with me, you really couldn't tell but just enough to where we can kind of get our cause passed along to the right kind of people and whatnot. So if you would be so humble to do so, we'd appreciate you kind of checking us out, giving us a look, a like, a follow, a subscribe, all that good stuff. So
and a comment.
Yeah, leave a comment too. So if you caught our show last week, episode 085, we were talking about the subject of fear and how that can kind of wreak havoc on people and sometimes kind of really throw them for a loop and whatnot. So if you would like to go back and check that out, one of our other social media pages that we have is we have a YouTube channel. for the Battle Bros podcast. All of our episodes are on the YouTube channel because we go live. There's only been one that we've had to record ahead of time because of scheduling conflicts, but you can find all of them there. The other one, episode 10, before we use the platform that we use now, which is called StreamYard. Shout out StreamYard. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. We were recording it in a different way, and episode 10 kind of didn't get recorded. It cut out after like 15 minutes of us being on the air.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like a crapola fest. But
all YubTub now.
all of it is on YouTube, all that good stuff. Other platforms as well. It might not be up to date as much, but we're catching up on that, so bear with us.
Sure enough.
It's coming slowly. So, but like I said, last week we talked about fear. This week we're going to talk about something a little bit different, kind of sort of on the same lines, but I'm sure it's something that everybody can relate to. So, welcome to the Thunderdome. I'm just kidding, not to the Thunderdome. Welcome to episode 086 of the Battle Bros podcast, entitled, drumroll, Intrusive Thoughts.
Intrusive Thoughts.
Intrusive Thoughts. So, let's... Who's that supposed to be? Crypt Keeper?
Throw me a freaking bone here, okay?
With freaking laser beams in her eyes. Yep.
Laser beams attached to the heads.
I think I've only seen one of those movies.
Every time I'm in the kitchen, you in the kitchen, in the goddamn refrigerator, heating up all the chicken, all the pig feet, all the hog maws. Man, I like chicken. I like pig feet.
John Witherspoon, that's amazing.
Oh man, Friday will never not be a funny movie. I swear, Friday will never.
I've seen a bunch of the stuff in the movie. I've never sat down and watched those movies from start to finish. I know a bunch of the jokes and the references. Yeah.
Oh, you have.
Yeah.
Watch them all, man. They're all hilarious.
I have to sit down and watch them. Right. Intrusive Thoughts. So let's hit the ground running, shall we? So
speaking of, just saying, I couldn't hold that one back. I don't know what it was.
No, that's fine. Okay,
but it was relevant to the situation.
I clicked my screen over to go to the dang notes with stuff, and I'm just like, what is he gonna do now? Okay, he's not doing anything.
He's never gonna know.
He's gonna know.
He's never gonna know.
He's gonna know. Intrusive thoughts are defined as an unwelcome, involuntary thought, image, or unpleasant idea that may become an obsession, is upsetting or distressing, and can feel difficult to manage or eliminate. I'm going to read that one more time. An unwelcome, involuntary thought, image, or unpleasant idea that may become an obsession, is upsetting or distressing, and can feel difficult to manage or eliminate. So, kind of those ideas are kind of like, I kind of call them like mental splinters. Like they get in there and you can't get them out and they fester. I mean, it's kind of like when, like I used to have a big issue when we worked together, Alamo. I used to hear a song on the radio or something, and it would get stuck in my head for like days. Like one of the worst ones, and I'm not trying to do this to anybody listening to the show. The song "Sail" by AWOL Nation. That song, just every time I hear it, I'm like, I got to be careful because like it'll just sit there, and I'll be humming it 2 days later. I'm just like, "Oh, you're back, you little bastard." It's a great song. I think it's great. In the video, there's a video with a guy named Jeb Corliss, who is a wingsuit flyer. And there's a video of him, and it's called Grinding the Crack. And he is over in the Swiss Alps, and he is
grinding.
Shut your mouth. Way up on top of this peak, and he just goes 3, 2, 1, and then it's timed with the video. Very, very, it's edited and timed very well. And he just goes off and just starts flying. He starts way up here, just doing all this crazy stuff. It's I mean, just the thrill that has to to be is just
Those
phenomenal.
wingsuits are badass.
Oh yeah,
Like if I could get all the qualifications that I need to do that, like that would be fucking dope.
oh yeah. But there's also that can be some hairy stuff too, man. Like he was talking.
Oh yes.
He was talking about there was this one guy. He was going to like a festival. It's like an X Games or a festival or something. And this guy just kind of out of nowhere. I forget exactly who it was, but the story goes that he was kind of sitting there, and he just goes, you know, today's a beautiful day, man. If this was my last day, it would be a good one. And they're kind of just like, that's kind of a weird thing to say. Well, these guys were doing a bit where they were doing a stunt where there's a bridge, there's a suspension bridge. One guy was going to go over the bridge, one guy was going to go under. The guy went over, didn't clear it, impacted, collided. So the guy underneath was like sitting here flying, and all of a sudden he's like, man, there was a bunch of debris, and they were like, yeah, that was so and so's body parts that you were avoiding collision with in midair. It's like,
oh man.
Yeah, dude.
Because you got to imagine those wingsuits that those guys are flying in, they're easily going at least
they're going
107. Yeah, at least
they're going
175 plus.
easy. And that's the reason, like they said, like they have a carbon fiber helmet, so at least like if the body, like it's kind of morbid and stuff, but like at least with, like if it collides with something, the carbon fiber helmet will remain intact enough that they can identify like the head, the face of like who it is and stuff.
Who it
like,
was. Damn. Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
But there's a bunch of really awesome videos of guys wingsuit flying. Like over in Fiji, there's a place called the Blue Hole. It's basically like this spot in the ocean where everything around it is at like, you know, maybe a couple 100 feet. But there's like this, it's like a volcanic tube where it's like dark. It's like this whole circular area of this ocean. I forget how big it is, but it's just like black water. And these guys are just like flying down over these peaks in Fiji and stuff, and they land in the water right there. They have a boat out there. I mean, it's pretty awesome stuff if you get to watch it. Like, if you ever just want to like peruse through YouTube and watch something just for strictly for entertainment value, wingsuit flying, and then guys doing wood turning. That's also really good. That's what I've watched.
Heck yeah,
a lot of that lately. There's a guy named Andy Phillips. He does some awesome stuff. But I digress. As you see, squirrel. There goes.
Indeed.
Intrusive thoughts. So, yeah, they're kind of like thoughts that just aren't good. I hate to dumb it down like that, but there's just thoughts you're just like, wow, that's really kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had plenty of moments with them.
Yeah.
Plenty of moments with them. And we're going to get into those.
Yes, we are. So we're going to start there right now, folks. Okay. So we're going to start reading these articles. We found a couple articles we're going to talk about. We're going to read real quick. We don't really have to. We don't need to worry about putting them up or anything else. I'm just going to read through them.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not really necessary. I'll just kind of give the sources here. But so the first article that we found is it's from a website called onebright.com, and it is it's a company it's called One Bright Mental Health. And it's talking, this is an article, Intrusive Thoughts, Why Do We Get Them? Is basically what it's called. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this article was published. I didn't say. Yeah. So if we're having, I'm sorry, let me back up. Did you know that the average person has around 12 to 60,000 thoughts per day? A study by the National Science Foundation found that 80% of those can be negative thoughts. Let that sink in for a moment. If we're having that many thoughts per day, and a big chunk of them are not positive, is it any surprise that some of us struggle with intrusive thoughts that can affect our day-to-day lives?
You know what
Probably
the sad
not.
part is those 60,000 that's the average. There's plenty of people that have way more. according to the way this is stated.
Yeah.
So
I'd hate to see the higher end of that metric of that scale. Like that would be like, how do you sleep if your brain just doesn't ever shut up like that? It's like that's something I sincerely worry about. It's like I wake up in the morning, I'm like, brain, shut the hell up. I need to sleep. Yeah, exactly.
I have a lot of those moments.
Unfortunately, the brain active. What? What did you just do? Withers, hey buddy. His triumphant return.
Oh man.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Should have known.
has entered the chat. Hey, that's fucking fantastic.
Oh man.
If you didn't hear what he said, or if you didn't see what he said because you're listening on an audio platform, he said, "Yeah, mostly sex.
Mostly sex.
Maybe in your 20s, not so much now anymore, but
Exactly.
who's to argue that point?" Anyway, unfortunately, the brain actively wires itself towards negative thinking. This goes back to the human response of fight or flight and the need for survival. As environments and people change, the brain often gets left behind. Understanding how and why our brain processes thoughts is fundamental in any mental health condition, and intrusive thoughts are no different. Intrusive thoughts take any form, but they are usually formed around concerns for yourself or someone else you care about. The truth is, every single person on the planet experiences intrusive thoughts. The content of these thoughts, although they may seem alien, scary, or confusing, can pass after a few moments. Sometimes, though, these thoughts can alarm us so much that they stick around for longer, which can result in conditions such as obsessive compulsive disorder. But that is not to say if you have intrusive thoughts, you have OCD. These thoughts that can stick with us, often disturbing thoughts that cause us deep anxiety and distress. It's our anxious response to them that fuels the intrusive thought cycle, and therefore we are not capable of brushing them aside and labeling them as meaningless. We feel like we have to find out more about the origin of the thought and what it says to us about what it means about us as a person. I apologize already, folks, because I'm like stumbling over words and stuff. It's been a long week. Please bear with me. Some water.
Sleep is evasive most nights. Interessante. Yeah. You don't want to have those Biden slips there, Mako.
No.
Can't say Freudian slips anymore because now it's Biden slips.
I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, you slip and call the president of Ukraine President Putin. It's like,
I saw that this morning. I was like,
well, let's talk about dumb political shit on my show. Shit.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good. Back to it. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh man.
Lost my thought. There we go. Our brains have a negativity bias and favor negative thinking, and with that, some intrusive thoughts are inevitable. But why do they stick with some? Yeah, right. But why do they stick with some people when others can let them flow in and out? There is no clear answer to this, but a good analysis would be that it's down to the response to the initial thought, which can form the path and how the thoughts grow or dissolve. How some can let them come and go, and how others latch onto them. For example, an individual with a naturally overactive brain or anxious tendencies could react to an intrusive thought from a feeling of fear. Hold on a second. What are you saying? Yeah, we're going to leave that go. I'm on another screen altogether, so if I hear you giggling and stuff, I'm sitting there going, doing this, I got to click back over. War Daddy, we have missed you. Thank you for gracing us with your presence, good sir. All right.
Oh, man.
The reaction often occurs if the theme of the thought targets something very important in that person's life. This reaction then makes the individual think that because they have had the thought that they may act on it. This in turn makes the thought more threatening and can spiral into a confusing and scary place, showing the brain that there is something to worry about. But so often, there is not. It's merely our immediate reaction to the thought. Increased heart rate, questioning the validity, digging for answers, and not a reflection of our life or values that fuels the anxious cycle. So examples of unwanted or distressing intrusive thoughts. Pushing someone in front of a train or jumping in front of a train yourself.
Damn, they went dark, didn't they?
Yeah, oh, yeah. I mean, you kind of have to. Hurting a child, questioning your relationship, shouting out unpleasant comments in public. I thought that was Tourette's. Oh, that's when you just
So did I.
do the obscenities and shit. Questioning your sexuality, thoughts about suicide, crashing into a wall when driving. Yep, that's pretty dark stuff. Intrusive thoughts categorized into 5 different categories. Number 1, violent thoughts, hurting oneself or others or causing harm. 2, sexual thoughts, engaging in unwanted or inappropriate sexual activities. 3, blasphemous thoughts, going against religion or moral beliefs. I would think that would be kind of common.
Yeah,
Maybe.
So.
4, harm-related thoughts, getting sick or being in a dangerous situation. 5, self-doubt thoughts, thoughts that you are not good enough or have made a mistake. Oh, I feel like they're talking about me here. Holy crap!
Yeah, you know what the crazy thing is the harm-related thoughts. That one, I would have to say, definitely 10-4. Considering my history, which, if you know, those of you who have followed us for long enough, you guys know I've had my bouts with, you know, potentially seeking the easy way out. And yeah, sometimes it's hard when you feel like, you know, you've screwed up enough to where freaking you feel most against religion after the past 20 years. Yeah.
Hey, don't squirrel on me, dude. Focus.
Yeah.
Focus.
Just looking at what War Daddy said.
Yeah, I know. I got that too. So.
But you know, it's hard, like, especially like, and the crazy thing is like I every once in a while there's still thoughts. Obviously, I don't act on them because I got way too much to go for me right now.
Oh yeah.
But you know, it's always been kind of like and we're gonna get into like a couple of these articles actually talk about how the relation between you know, having the thoughts and you know,
acting upon them
and acting upon them, or not, or deciding not to act upon them. You know, we're gonna get into that a little bit later, but you know, it's just, you know, a coming to terms type thing. Like, you know, crap, I had this, you know, thought. What the hell? Why isn't it going away? You know, and
I'll share
interesting
something with you, dude. I kind of had a little bout of about where I wasn't, you know, in a really good place in high school, and I think everybody kind of, in some form or another, they kind of go through this in high school. At least, you know, when I was in high school and stuff, I did. But dude, like, I just felt like I wasn't important to anybody. Like, I had a small group of friends. I felt like I was just like a little fish in a big ocean in high school and shit. And I sat down and just, like, you know, I kind of had a little bit of, like, I don't want to call it ideation, but like I thought about killing myself. And I sat down with a legal pad and I wrote down all of the different ways I could do it. And I think I got through 3.5 pages, and I was like, I found it sometime after the fact, and I was just sitting there reading through it. I'm like, where the hell was my brain at? Like, good God, man! Like, it was in a dark place, and I was just like, sheesh.
Yeah,
I
hate to say it, but your mind goes to a really, really dark place in very different situations. You know, it goes to a real dark freaking place.
No joke.
And
no freaking joke.
That kind of experience, you know, you don't forget things like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's part of the thing that sucks about it, but also part of the thing that kind of, in a way, is helpful because it teaches you how to ignore those thoughts and move on.
Yeah, that kind of like that noise, like that gray noise in your head, instead of just yeah.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I agree with that. You do kind of like train yourself to be like, okay, I'm having these thoughts before. Okay, you just kind of tell yourself like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like you just like you're being stupid. So I do want to scroll down a little bit on the One Bright article. I'm going to kind of skip around just a smidge. So it says here, they have a part of this article where the heading is, what is the difference between impulsive thoughts and intrusive thoughts? And like as I read this several times throughout the week, impulsivity was something that came up, and it's something that I deal with quite a bit as a behavior therapist. So I'm like, okay. So while intrusive thoughts are unwelcome and often distressing, impulsive thoughts refer to sudden urges or thoughts that drive impulsive actions without much consideration of consequences. These thoughts often arise from strong emotions, desires, or impulses that can lead to impulsive actions without adequate reflection or planning. Examples of impulsive thoughts could include sudden urges to buy something impulsively, engage in risky behavior, or react impulsively to emotional triggers. Impulsive thoughts can be a feature of various conditions, including attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, borderline personality disorder, BPD, or substance abuse disorders. So, and you actually experience this pretty common, folks. Like this is something that happens when you go to like your little favorite little grocery store, convenience store, gas station, whatever. All that little stand of shit that they've got right there by the freaking cash
AKA
register,
the end cap.
the end cap, or right there where the register stand is. That's called impulse target. There's like impulse products. Like it's like, I need to get some gum. I need to get some lickies and chewies. I need to get a freaking Mars bar.
A Three Musketeers bar.
I need to
get. I could go for a Three Musketeers bar.
I could get 3 Monsters for $5. Oh, that sounds like a deal. Let's do that. So it's not that uncommon. It's amazing how that kind of gets into a lot of different things. It's a big sales tactic when it comes to a lot of these big corporations and stuff. They put that stuff there because you're like, oh, hey, I need that. So
exactly.
Talks a little bit about some other things. It has some stuff on here about OCD and PTSD. Again, if you want to read this, it's on onebright.com, and the article is called "Intrusive Thoughts: Why do we get them?" Feel free to look that up. I do want to read the end portion here. It says, how to stop intrusive thoughts. Cognitive behavior therapy is a widely used and practical approach for managing and identifying negative patterns of thinking and developing new, more positive ones. A accredited CBT therapist can work with individuals to identify the root causes of their intrusive thoughts and develop practical strategies to manage it. The aim of CBT therapy in treating intrusive thoughts is not completely get rid of those thoughts. A person cannot avoid how they think, but instead CBT helps a person with OCD to identify, challenge, and manage the patterns of thought and compulsive behaviors that cause their anxiety and distress. And this article goes on quite a bit more. There's a lot of good material in here. So again, it's onebright.com/advice-hub/news/intrusive thoughts. Why do we get them?
Booyah.
So feel free to check that out. So the next article we're going to read is from Healthline.com, and it's going to be some of the information is going to be a little bit same, some it's going to be a little bit different. We're just kind of covering all of our bases here. So intrusive thoughts seem to come out of nowhere. These thoughts and images are unwanted and often unpleasant. The content can sometimes be aggressive or sexual, or you could suddenly think about a mistake or a word. My biggest one, so like my intrusive thoughts is like I have a bad habit. Hooker, what do you mean hooker? He said hooker. What was he talking about when he said that, Macho? I didn't see it. Withers, if you would, man.
I saw that earlier.
Yeah, I was reading the article, so I didn't see it.
I saw that earlier. I was like,
oh. tracking. So, in most cases, intrusive thoughts don't have any particular meaning as long as you recognize that these are only thoughts and you have no desire to act on them. Intrusive thoughts are not harmful. Oh, so what I was going to say is my intrusive thought pattern is that I would play. I would relive mistakes in my head pretty much in ad nauseam. Like it's just goes and goes and goes and goes. It's like a hamster wheel that doesn't ever stop. Like, and it's usually stuff where somebody got hurt. Like my younger brother fell in a pool one time at my uncle's house, and Jesus Withers, nailing it on the head like always. But yeah, so we had a basketball hoop next to the pool, and he went to go get the basketball because it fell in it, and like he fell in the pool, and my brother didn't know how to swim at the time, and I ran inside. My uncle came and scooped him out, got him out of there and stuff. But it just like for like months that just in my head. Like my mom fell down coming out the door. She skinned up her arm real bad on her forearm and stuff. Like, and it's amazing. So like it's kind of like that episode of MASH where Hawkeye gets like he has something happen to him where he just gets really sick, like he's got allergies and all this crap. And it was from something that happened when he was a kid. And in his mind, he altered the event so that his buddy who pushed him into the water helped him out of the water only. And I said, but it's amazing how like the little things like that. Yeah, I'm gonna try to make sure that I slow down for that, Withers. Thanks. But it's amazing how like these little things that happen, insignificant things here and there, end up going and becoming big things. Like in the middle of a war, like he's like I got all this death and destruction around me, and something that happened when I was 10 fucked me up and stuff. It's just amazing how the mind works. And it was all because he smelled the guy fell in some fetid water, and he smelled like a wet burlap sack. And it was just, and that was what triggered the whole. It's a great episode. I'm not exactly certain what season it is in MASH, but it's the one where Major Freeman comes and like has to sit down and talk to him. Everybody's all freaked out and worried and all that kind of crap. It's after season 5. I know that because it was Major Winchester was there who took over for Major Burns after he was written off the show and stuff. But it's a fantastic episode. It like really, 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 really good. So damn good. Anyway, back to the story. So, so you have different types of intrusive thoughts. Several different types. Some people may have intrusive thoughts about. These are kind of some just generalized categories. Germs, infections, or other types of contamination. Violent acts, aggression, or causing harm to other people. Doubts about doing tasks wrong or leaving tasks unfinished. Religion, blasphemy, or being an immoral person. Sexual acts or situations. Acting out or saying the wrong thing in public. Yeah, I will tell you right now, I have had a lot of those thoughts on a daily basis. So,
yes.
If you want to put me on a watch list or something, hey, go be it. So be it. Go for it. I'm not the only one.
Bada bing.
Oh, Withers coming in clutch. Yes. Season 9, episode 17. You're the fucking man, dude. Love it. Yeah, I forget what that one's called, but it's a good episode. Season 9, episode 17. Fantastic. Yeah. I'm not saying I'm a violent person, but there are times where I get upset in traffic with other people's driving habits, and I just want to like.
Mm-hmm.
What was the name of that game? That PlayStation game where like you had to have the little characters and had cars that had like missiles or shoot flamethrowers and stuff, and it was like a destructive
Twisted
death
Metal.
Yes, I'm not gonna lie. I think about that kind of stuff. Yeeting somebody into a guardrail. I mean, it's a thought. I sit there and I think about it and I go, yeah.
Is he talking about the robe that
Hawkeye wore? The
Hawkeye wore?
United States Army MD. Yep, the red robe.
Nice.
Yep. You could probably still find those, dude. That's like a surplus item, I bet. So
I'm willing to guarantee that. Yeah, they're bound to be somewhere.
Oh Surplus hunting is fun. Like that's one of my favorite hobbies. It's awesome.
Yeah, the aggression,
Anyway,
causing harm, violent acts, doubts, and
dude,
being like doing the wrong fuck, dude.
you want to talk about intrusive thoughts, man?
That's me.
That's a motherfucker. Like I hate when you get down that rabbit hole. You're just like, yeah.
It's a spiral, man. It's an absolute spiral, and you go out of freaking control with it.
I don't want to be in a spiral. I want to be in the death blossom. Leave me alone. Like just. Mm-hmm. If you know what death blossom is, I'm sorry that your childhood sucked. Do you know what that is? You know what the death blossom is, right? I hope so. Okay, just check. Just check. As it was. Yeah. So.
Got a new show for y'all.
Intrusive thoughts normal. It's common to have an intrusive thought every once in a while. Like I just said, traffic makes them happen. Just saying. In fact, it happens to almost everyone. A 2014 study found that about 94% of participants had at least one intrusive thought in the 3 months prior to the study. 3 months. I got 3 every hour at least, man. Like, come on, let's be honest, okay?
That's child's play, people. Up your game. Up your game.
Step your game up, yo. Step it up. In the 2014 study, doubting intrusions or worries about doing tasks correctly were the most common. Intrusive thoughts of a sexual or religious nature were the least likely to be reported. Maybe there's a little bit of shame involved there. I don't know. Although intrusive thoughts are usually nothing to worry about, sometimes they can start to interfere with your daily life. People who feel fear or guilt about their intrusive thoughts, or feel like they need to take action to control the thoughts, may be experiencing something more serious. If that's the case, it's a good idea to talk with a doctor or professional. So, what causes these intrusive thoughts? Here's a good one. So, intrusive thoughts may not have a cause. They can happen randomly. Some thoughts wander into your brain, then just as quickly they exit, leaving no lasting impression. Less commonly, why is my eye being stupid? I got a freaking fuzzy spot.
It's twitchy.
No, it's not even that. It's like it'll just get fuzzy for no reason. Like I got a big old whatever. I'm getting cataracts or something. Who the fuck knows? Anyway, less commonly, intrusive thoughts are related to an underlying mental health condition, like obsessive compulsive disorder, PTSD, or the like. These thoughts could also be a symptom of another health issue, such as brain injury, dementia, Parkinson's disease. Signs that there might be an underlying
cause. Add those in there right there next to each other. Number one, dementia is like very fucking prominent in my family. And then brain injury, I mean, dude.
Yeah.
Booms going off near us, like that's just nerve-wracking. I do. That's just nerve-wracking.
Unless you see some of those great videos of the guys like hanging mortars and stuff, they're just like, yeah, and the whole ground shaking. Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that stuff. Everything else shaking. He's just like,
hang it, fire.
Like he's doing all like crazy stuff. Oh, it's fantastic. I'm so glad my brain wasn't turned into an omelet and stuff, but like it's just
that was one benefit of being a Chuck that I love and miss sometimes.
Rounds.
Hanging rounds, fire. Hang it, fire. Especially the 120. Oh my god.
So
you want to talk?
We have 3 in an infantry battalion. We have 3 in infantry.
Riding the plate into the ground.
We have 3 different sizes that we use. We have 60s, 81s, and 120s, right?
60s, 81s. Yep.
So 60s are used at company level. 81s are at battalion level. Or do we have 81s at company level?
81s and 120s are used at battalion level.
Okay, so we just have 60s at company level. Got it. Okay, so our infantry mortar
at company level,
60s.
It's all 60s.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Now the more you know.
Usually, if I remember correctly, from what how we broke it down in my company was every platoon at the regular line, but at the regular line, like company, like line, was essentially you had one squad of mortar per platoon. So you would have like 3, regular
Really?
leg guys, and then you'd have your mortars. One
I know.
squad with
So like
mortars.
for
That's how we
HHC,
ran it. I mean,
okay, yeah. No, I remember that now. So like, I'm trying to remember like. God, it's been so long now. I'm starting to forget stuff too. Like, yeah, I do remember that we had. I know we had like so. You have headquarters platoon, in an infantry line company. You have headquarters platoon, which is like your medics, and you had your mortar squad and all that kind of shit.
mortars, scouts, aka snipers.
There you go. And then yeah, they had for HHC they had a whole mortar platoon, if I remember correctly.
Correct. And I was
Okay.
mortar platoon.
Because you were Havoc, you were in HHC because you were mortar platoon because you were Havoc.
We were the best of the mortars.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Anyway,
best of the mortars.
I don't know if I would say mortars. I'm like, trying to put the emphasis on the wrong syllable. The word to carry 60 mil. Yeah, I do remember that now. That was supposed to be in our SOP or something, but signs that there might be an underlying cause include that could cause an intrusive thoughts could be they last longer than a brief moment, they continue to pop back into your head, cause distress over time, make you feel like you need to control your thoughts. Changes in mental health are nothing to take lightly. Early symptoms of some conditions may include changes in thought patterns, obsessive thoughts, and thoughts of disturbing imagery. Excuse me. So the other thing they mention in here, they talk about how to manage it. They also mention cognitive behavioral therapy, seeing a doctor about medication, and then self-care, which was a good point. A good step towards treating intrusive thoughts is recognizing what they are, just thoughts. You can learn to label them when they happen and recognize that thoughts are not the same as intent or behavior. And that's a very, very distinct thing that they did there. This may help reduce the frequency or intensity of the unwanted thoughts. And then the last article is going to talk about managing. This is from health.harvard.edu, mind and mood / managing intrusive thoughts. This article is labeled March 26th of this year. This is not a very long article, so I'm just going to read through it real quick. So, managing intrusive thoughts. Disturbing thoughts that pop into your head may unbidden may make you feel uneasy, but they are common and there are strategies you can use to manage them. It seems to come out of nowhere, a strange, disturbing thought or a troubling image that pops into your mind. It might be violent or sexual or a recurring fear that you'll do something inappropriate or embarrassing. Whatever the content, it's often unsettling and may bring on feelings of worry or shame. The more you try to push the thought from your mind, the more it persists. Like it's in there like that little splinter that just festers, you little bastard.
Mm-hmm.
Intrusive thoughts, as these are called, are thought to affect some 6 million Americans, according to the Anxiety and Depression Association of America. Sometimes intrusive thoughts are associated with a mental health disorder, such as obsessive compulsive disorder, where thoughts become so bothersome that they prompt repetitive behaviors or compulsions to try to prevent them from occurring. They are also common in PTSD, which can be triggered by a life-threatening or extremely stressful event, such as an accident or violent attack. But many people who experience these thoughts don't have a mental health disorder. Intrusive thoughts are often triggered by stress or anxiety. They may also be a short-term problem brought on by biological factors, such as hormone shifts. For example, a woman might experience an uptick in intrusive thoughts after the birth of a child. I think that's called postpartum depression, I believe. And that is very much a real thing. Any life stressor, if big enough, well, you got to some people that say, oh, that's not, you just need to take vitamins and stuff. It's like, are you ridiculous? Like, shut up, Scientology weirdos. While intrusive thoughts may be disturbing, they aren't harmful or mean that you have a secret desire to do the things that popped into your mind. So how can you tell if you are experiencing intrusive thoughts? These are some signs to look for. The thought is unusual for you. An intrusive thought is usually very different from your typical thoughts. For example, it might be uncharacteristically violent. The thought is bothersome. If a thought is disturbing and it's something you want to push out of your mind, it might be an intrusive thought. The thought feels hard to control. Intrusive thoughts are often repetitive and won't go away. The more you think about intrusive thoughts, it might make you more anxious and dwell on them even more. Instead of fighting intrusive thoughts, it's better to learn to live with them. When these thoughts emerge, try taking the following steps. Number 1, identify the thought as intrusive. Think to yourself, that's just an intrusive thought. It's not how I think, it's not what I believe, and it's not what I want to do. Number 2, don't fight with it. When you have an intrusive thought, just accept it. Don't try to make it go away. And number 3, don't judge yourself. Knowing that having a strange or disturbing thought doesn't indicate that something is wrong with you. When to seek help. See a mental health professional if unwanted thoughts are starting to disrupt your daily life, particularly if they're impairing your ability to work or do things you enjoy. However, even if intrusive thoughts aren't affecting your life in a significant way, you can still see someone to get help. Cognitive behavioral therapy is one strategy that is often successful in helping people manage intrusive thoughts. The process may help you to shift some of your general thought patterns, which can enable you to better manage these thoughts when they do occur and might lessen their frequency. Intrusive thoughts can also be managed by addressing the underlying problems, such as anxiety or stress, or a personal history of trauma. While it may be helpful to share these particular thoughts you are having, keep in mind that even if you aren't comfortable talking about them in detail, a therapist can still help. People should also know when intrusive thoughts typically respond well to therapy. Keep in mind that you might not need help forever. It may be a very short-term thing. So, my question is this. So they said repeatedly in those 3 articles that intrusive thoughts are something that can happen or just wander into your head and then just kind of fuck off into the distance without rhyme or reason, without intent, it just shows up and then it's gone.
Yep.
So how do you manage something you can't predict? Like so what I mean by that is this. So like if you are going to drink, we have things like Uber and Lyft and, hey man, I'm at the local pub. Can you come hook a brother up? Something like that. Okay. How do you manage something that just kind of shows up all willy-nilly and just is like, here I am. Bye. And then it's gone. I mean, you can identify the signs and stuff. I'm just curious. I mean, like I have goofy thoughts all the time, but I'm just sitting there and go. I literally just think to myself, that was fucking weird.
And you did it like that. You did. So what? You mentioned it. You mentioned no. You mentioned it like it was like, oh yeah, bye. Like it's funny because like intrusive thoughts really do act exactly like that. What do you say? What do you say?
You need to fill your mind prior to any event.
Yeah. Yeah, also facts. But like he like because like like for example for me there was a time when like I don't remember what the hell happened. But I ended up like I ended up saying like somebody's position wrong or something. Like it was basically like, oh yeah, this person was a whatever, and it ended up being like this, that wasn't their job title at all. Like, and I was like, oh shit. And like the thoughts came into my head like, you're a dumb fucker, right? Like, and I'm just like,
no, hold on. Stop. I'm not laughing at you said that. I'm
No.
laughing how like all baritone was like, you realize you're retarded, right? And he just got
Like,
very
but that's how it is. Because it's like I walked away and I was like, yep, do. I called that person the wrong thing, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah. By the way, you're stupid. It's like,
guess what? You done fucked up, AA Ron.
I'm like, shit.
Did I really just say
And that's
that?
happened to me multiple times. And it's like I sat there just like randomly, the thoughts just like, oh yeah, by the way, you called him that, by the way. You're stupid, by the way. Just letting you know. It's like
Withers is
like,
like,
fuck,
that was funny,
stop.
man. Dude, that's why we need to get. Hey, that's why we need to get the voice box. You get that logo. You know you're fucked up, right? Oh, that would have been great.
you're a jackass. But that is exact. But
You're so crazy, man. You're
you crazy. Yup. But how you said it is exactly how it is, though. It's because it's just like, oh yeah, it's like,
yeah.
and you're like, just push. Oh man, but it's
I tell you,
crazy,
man,
though.
like
It's like that though with the bad, like the really
Yeah.
bad thoughts too, though, which
I
also
remember, dude, I
sucks
had,
ass.
and Withers can vouch for this, man. Like when we were in Mississippi getting ready for pre-deployment training and stuff, like I remember looking at these guys around me, and I felt like such a little fish in a big pond. I'm like, you had all these guys in our platoon, and like they're all higher in rank and all this stuff, and here I am, just little guy, E3, got promoted to E4 at the time, and I was just like, I was new. I was still very young. I mean, I was still 20 before I deployed. I turned 21 in Afghanistan, so it's just like, I kind of like really had a lot of doubt about myself, and I got a letter from my, and Withers knows about this. He was there. Like I got a letter from my dad, and he told me he's proud of me and stuff, and yeah, right. And Withers took me outside because he could see I was getting emotional. He's like, "Come here, man, give me a hug," and like we kind of just hug each other and stuff. And I was like, that's when I knew like I got good people around me. I just need to like trust the process and stuff. Mostly good people. There's a couple of jacktards in our freaking squad.
There was leadership, and then there was leader shit.
Yes, we should have an episode called Leader Shit. Yeah, we were. We were on the outside looking in. Yeah, we were. So yeah. So what did we learn tonight, boys and girls? Well, number one, intrusive thoughts are normal. Don't fight that shit.
Exactly.
I did like listen, War Daddy. I appreciated the hug, and I'm not bullshitting you here. I'm being 100% real.
You know what's here's the funny shit though.
No, hold on, stop.
Wait.
No. Let me get this out.
You said
Shut the fuck up. Let me get this out. Stop. I appreciated it because of where I was at that particular time. So, like, I know we're joking about it, and Alba's going to say some homoerotic shit here in a minute. All right, so whatever. That's fine. But I'm just saying, at that
think about what you said, though, before the comment dropped.
Man.
Think about what you said before the comment dropped.
What did I say? Please remind me.
Oh, my God. What? What was the question?
Squirrel? What did I say, dickhead?
I don't even remember now, but I know it caught me off guard. ADHD, bruh. I'm sure Withers will enlighten you about what you said before he dropped the comment.
Because you're nuts, because you're a squirrel, just went, ooh, nuts. Deep shit, Jesus. Shut the hell up, man.
Oh my God. That's okay. This is all recorded, so I'll remind you later.
Exactly. But anyway, but he's absolutely right. I consider Withers like, and I still do consider Withers like very much like a father type figure in my life.
Yeah.
And that's why him and I are still tight to this day. So like, no homo or anything, Withers, but man, I fucking love you, man. Like seriously, like you really helped me come out of my shell when I was a young man.
Right.
So I appreciate that. So whenever you come down to Florida, dude, let me know so we can get the band back together and make shit happen. So fantastic.
Fantastic.
Anyway, do you have anything else you wanted to add there, Chucko, before we Withers said Withers just texted me. He said, "Yeah, you said that I took him outside." I'm like, "Yeah, because we were having a little bit of a personal moment, and you didn't want me around all the rest of these asshats, freaking that were just unfeeling bunch of sons of bitches. All right, because all these guys, you're being gay, man. Blah. Like they just didn't understand. Whatever. Thank you for reminding me about that moment." I appreciate that. That's a happy memory. Like seriously, it's one of those formative memories. It's like in Inside Out. What do they call them? A core memory.
Core memories.
One of my core memories from the Army, man. It's like I had a freaking outstanding squad leader who's not only trained you as a soldier, he freaking got you to be a better man. So, thanks, brother. Anyway, what were you gonna say there, dickhead?
No, basically, no. I was gonna say, like, your intrusive thoughts don't, dictate how, things are going to turn out for you in the future. Yeah. Like one thing, I guess oh, God, excuse me. I had chili earlier, so one thing.
It's like the summertime, dude. That's something you do in the wintertime when you eat it when you're feeling chilly.
Chili is the shit.
I'm not gonna disagree with you, my man. You're missing the point here, dude.
Look, you have chili any time of year, okay? But yeah, like I guess the term is, grace. You got to give yourself grace when certain things pop up in your head. The thing to remember, I think the articles of all three of the articles that we went through today just kind of reminded all of us, like, hey, when you have these thoughts, not acting on them and remembering that they are just thoughts in the moment is one of the most important things you can do, and just to be able to just move on. You have to acknowledge those things and then just let it fall by the wayside, because 9 times out of 10, you'll start to forget those thoughts that you thought of anyway. With what was the average? 60,000. The average is
they said, I think 12 to 60,000. So.
Like 12 to 60,000 thoughts a freaking day on average. Like you're bound to forget what the.
Can I tell you what my retarded ass said? Like, let's think about boobies quite a lot, man.
It's the chili is that. Nice. I just caught that. But yeah, no, it's you got to give yourself some grace, and you got to let it kind of just slip by the wayside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of like water rolling off a duck's back. Yeah, no,
I totally agree with that. I mean, thoughts. So like you said, thoughts are just something that happens. It's not a defining thing. It's like you have a thought. If you marry that thought to an action and something happens as a result of that, it's a slightly different story. But it's kind of like these folks, I kind of just drew the comparison of like somebody who is haunted by their past. Your past is in the past. It is not the present. It's something that happened that you can get over and move on from. It is the past, not
what
the
is
present.
It? What is that? How's that phrase goes? Like, stepping in old shit is just like stepping in new shit. It all smells the same. I mean, hey.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh,
yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah.
Shit or new shit, man, it all stinks.
Hey,
we're gonna dumb it down, 11 series style. Yes.
Also true, Withers.
It can't. The past can't hurt. So
he said, "The fuck."
Oh man, I did you
Oh shit!
did you just snort, dude?
Oh,
Oh god,
oh man!
we both needed that laugh like nothing else, dude.
Oh,
Weekend adventure, dude.
oh,
Holy
that's
shit!
awesome. Oh, awesome sauce,
I'm
man.
laugh crying right now. Oh my god. Yeah, buddy.
Oh shoot!
Anyway, so that's
He
the
said
shit for the
shit for the
field.
field. Yep.
Oh, what did I see today, man? It was something on how was it? It was on Platoon News or something. Oh, damn, I can't remember. It's like, what if you went to the field and just raw dogged it? Freaking no extra t-shirts, no extra socks. You just wet and sweaty and dirty and rocks and all that bullshit for the whole field problem. Like, no, no. That's terrible. Gotta have like some, you know, gotta have some extra t-shirts and shit like that. That's insane.
You does.
Anyway, but this has been our conversation on Intrusive Thoughts. You know, this is something, you know, like I was talking to our good friend Brian a while earlier this evening, and I was like, you know, we go into it enough where we can kind of talk about the subject, but you know, hell, if we need to down the road, we're like, hey, you remember that time we talked about this? We're gonna go back.
Do you remember the time?
We're gonna do a Tarantino. Let's go back. Let's go back. We're gonna Tarantino this shit.
Reverse this shit.
Exactly. So anyway, please feel free to leave your comments on any one of our on the different pages you can find this on YouTube or whatnot. We'd love to hear your feedback and all this good stuff. Anything we might have missed, anything you have a difference of opinion on, hey, let's talk about it. We'd love to hear from you out there in the world, that people listen to our and watch our show and whatnot. So we'd appreciate that. But it is now that time that we start to wrap up and gift wrap this pig, and we're gonna take it to the butcher shop and get it done and move on. So, as we talked about earlier, Alamo and I have been friends for a long damn time. Who knew way back when that it would be as glorious as it is now? It's like there's the stuff like Tuesday night we got on here to talk about the show. We have 2 meetings a week, Tuesdays and Thursday nights. And we kind of get what we're going to talk about. Thursday we get together and finalize our notes. It's amazing the fact that we can even put on a damn podcast, because we just do like we get into the ass hattery of our relationship, and nothing good happens. Like we were sitting here talking about goofy shit, and next thing you know, we're sitting there going down memory lane, sharing pictures of our kids and stuff. It's like, you know, my daughter Jaden turned 10.
Jaden turned 11.
Okay, that's right. Oh, he's a year ahead of her. And then Marcus is 8.
He is 8 years old.
Wow, crazy. Yeah, so we sit here. We just start.
I remember holding them little boogers like this and with one arm, just going.
Yep, I got a picture of my daughter.
Yeah,
where she's just all curled up right here, like right in my clavicle, like her resting her head right here. Oh my god, dude! I was just like, when the hell were you that little? So I got to tell this story about my kid real quick, because this is how savage my child is. She's at home during the day. She comes over to my house with my mom, and she wants to play board game stuff, and she won't say it. She's competitive to a fault. Like, you don't want to. This kid's 10. She learned how to play dominoes from her great grandmother, who used to play in domino tournaments down in Puerto Rico. Okay, she's a shark.
Mima.
No. Yeah. Absolutely. So she's sitting here talking to my mom, and she's like, you want to play another game? And my mom says, what about Jeopardy? And she goes, no. My mom's like, why not? She goes, you know why. What? Who talks like that? And my mom's like, sweetie, this is a great way for you to bolster your vocabulary. She goes, yeah, I'm 10. My vocabulary's good. Thank you. And I was just like, this kid's a badass at 10, man. And then I go back and look to when she was just tiny and small, and she had a lisp and all this stuff, and I'm like, Oh,
Yeah,
they grow up so damn fast. Anyway,
they do.
but like we were talking about, um, we started the show unfortunately out of tragedy. We found out a good friend of ours, John, who we used to work with. So Alamo and I and this other guy, John, used to work together at a gun retailer here in Tampa, and we were like the Three Musketeers. Like we had so much fun at work. I couldn't believe at times we got paid to do what we did. Like we sold guns, we ran a range. Yeah, amen to that, Withers.
Yes.
It's like we had so much fun, and I couldn't believe like we didn't get in trouble more often. Like it was just insane. Like we did some dumb shit. Well, we lost touch with John after we all left, and John unfortunately solved the temporary problem with a permanent solution. And Alamo and I were doing an event for his lovely wife for Flipside Mentorship. If you haven't checked it out, this is a shameless plug. Please do so. FlipsideMentorship.com. They have a great thing going on over there. It's an awesome mission, awesome people. If you got kids and they're struggling with stuff, check it out. It's worth your damn time. I promise you. I would not say this just because it's Alamo's wife, but like Tisha is one of those souls that is just a kind, good-hearted person, a good Christian woman. She's funny. She's great. She's got a passion for what she's doing. Like, just go check it out. FlipsideMentorship.com. Anyway, we were working an event for her way back when, and Alamo and I are like, dude, we should do something together. I'm like, you want to hang out? He goes, no, let's do something on a regular basis. So we talked about doing a podcast, and as I've said 1,000 times, it's like, dude, I don't know shit about a podcast. He's like, dude, they put a monkey in space. Yeah, that's a good point. It's a very valid point. This shit can't be that hard. So we talked about that, and then we found out, I found out from one of John's friends that he was gone. So I called Alamo, and I was like, hey, man, did you reach out to John recently? He goes, no, I haven't. I was like, I need to. I'm like, well, you can't. He's gone. So for me, that was kind of like our aha moment, my aha moment, because I was like, dude, remember talking about the podcast? He goes, yeah. I said, I'm in. Let's do this. Like, absolutely. That was the catalyst that got this whole thing going. So we started talking about it and kind of came up with the concept, the idea, and all this other stuff. One of the things that we came up with was the Battle Bros Code. And what the Bros Code is it's one of those things you can use where if you're just having a shit day or a shit week or whatnot, you can just remember the 4 parts of the Bros Code and like help you look up and say, okay, you know what? It's raining. I'm on a 12-mile forced march. It's raining. I'm soaked down in my drawers. But hey, at least the sky's not on fire and the world's ending. This will be over soon, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can remember these 4 parts of the Bros Code, you're going to be okay. I'm not going to like make you sign a contract, say that's great. It's gonna for sure happen, but you have like a 90% chance of things getting better. Okay. So there's actually no scientific study to prove the 90%. That's just what I'm saying because I'm trying to be optimistic. But anyway, yeah. So be tenacious. No matter what you choose to do in life, whether it's working out, whether it's being a parent, working your job, having interest. If you're, whatever, if you are a gardener or a bird watcher, man, do it to the fullest you can do. Go out there and just dive in head first and just go have fun with the stuff. In the words of the immortal Ron Swanson, don't half-ass 2 things, whole ass 1 thing. Whole ass 1 thing. I mean, you can't get any better than that advice. You just can't. So I'm not going to try to make it better. No matter what you do, just go and give it your fullest and utmost attention and go for it. Okay. R, refuse to surrender. There's going to be times in life where, things aren't going to go your way. Something I have to tell my daughter and remind her of constantly. I was like, you're going to not get what you want a hell of a lot more than getting what you want. I said,
damn sure are.
So, and I read her a poem. It's a poem by Charles Swindoll, and it's called Attitude. And I don't remember the whole poem. I don't have it memorized, but the very last line says, I am convinced that life is 10% of what happens to you, and 90% how you react to it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that my granddad and my father both kind of impressed upon me, and it's just always stuck with me. And now to be able to pass it on to my daughter, she's kind of not really 100% grasping it, but she's getting better at like kind of understanding it and applying it and whatnot. Yeah, like things are gonna happen. Like last summer, my mom was in a car accident with my daughter in the car, and it sucked because they don't have a vehicle anymore. So I have to do a lot of driving around extra now. But that's more time I get to spend with my mom. It's more time I get to spend with my daughter. It's a car, okay? Who cares? It can be replaced. You know, it was paid off, so I didn't have to worry about that. But everybody was okay, and yeah, you know, we got on, we moved past it, and said, nah, that's not going to beat us. So, just like with life, anything else, don't let things get you down. You can get knocked in the dirt, all that kind of crap. Refuse to surrender. Don't let it beat you. Thanks, Withers. Love you too, buddy. Thanks for stopping by, the gracing us with your presence. Obliterate your obstacles. As it kind of goes with the first one, there's going to be times where things are going to keep you from hitting that objective, that OBJ, that hitting the X. Okay, obstacles happen; they get in the way.
They sure enough do.
It's not about what you do; it's about, you know, how you choose to get around that and continue. And to Charlie might continue mission on this stuff. Sometimes you gotta traverse the go a little bit off course and traverse the terrain. You got to climb over a wall. You have to dig under a wall. When Charlie Company landed in Jordan, they had to dig through the berm into Iraq when the war started and everything else. There's a great picture of them actually. It's called Breaching the Berm, and it depicts them actually doing that, and it's fantastic. But yeah, no matter what those obstacles are, like.
Speaking of digging through, I gotta get me one of them really good e-tools, like the ones that we had when we were in basic training.
Yeah,
I gotta find me one of those.
I'm trying to find a full Molly Ruck. I know I don't. Everybody's like, Molly Ruck, Alice is better. I agree, but I already have a lot of the Molly components, so I can just kind of put them on with my Ruck and all that good stuff, and it's all designed as a system. But yeah, trying to find that, and then again, surplus hunting is such a fun hobby, man. It's fantastic.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, folks, as I said, obliterate your obstacles. Sometimes you got to breach some shit with some C4 and Bangalores. Other times, do what my homeboy did right here and drive a vehicle and back into that bastard. Cool. Do it. Whatever you got to do, continue Charlie Mike and freaking hit the OBJ. Lastly, S, seek out help in a time of need. You know, as we mentioned with our friend John, he chose to solve a temporary problem with a permanent solution, and that is unfortunate because John was a guy worth knowing. He was a guy that should still be here, and if it means that we didn't have this podcast because he's still here, I would be okay with that. The podcast is great and everything. It's a kind of came out of the loss of our friend, and you know, kind of the hard times he went through and all that kind of stuff. So I would happily trade this to have John back because he was just the greatest dude. Give you the shirt off his back. Loved it. Had an infectious laugh. Just loved to ham bone it up. We did the dumbest shit at work, and it was so much fun. And I see Alamo grinning over there because he's remembering half the stuff. It's like, yeah, sure enough, sure enough. Just absolute hilarity. But it's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to think you have to go through it by yourself. Okay?
Damn right.
Much like primates or any other wild animals, we are very much social creatures by design. We do better in groups. So in the event you don't have anybody you can count on, somebody you went to basic with, somebody you served in the Army with, a vet support group, family, friends, family members, coworkers, acquaintances. You know, if you don't have anybody you feel like you can count on to talk to, don't fret. There's options out there. There is, if you ever feel like you're going to harm yourself, There's a National Suicide Prevention Hotline. You can call them at 1-800-273-8255. Again, that's 1-800-273-8255, or just dial 800-273-TALK, Tango, Alpha, Lima, Kilo. They will be on the line with you, and you can, I think, dial 1, and they'll get somebody on the line with you as ASAP. There's also, this is new as of, I think, a couple years ago. You can also dial 988. That's 988 for the folks with a smartphone or whatnot. Same thing. You can call or text that prefix to get somebody on the line. They're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We need to stop this. On average, 22 veterans a day are choosing to commit suicide as a way out. And that is the pandemic that we're fighting now. Okay. 22 is a lot, but when you know one of those 22 as somebody you know and can put a face to, somebody you've laughed and cried with and shared personal moments with, it hits a lot fucking harder and it sucks. Okay, so let's stop this. Alamo, I think you said you've lost what 5 or 6?
I think it's at 5 currently, if I remember correctly.
That's too much, folks. Like we got to stop this. Even if you don't listen to the show for us, if you find what we're listening to can help somebody else, please by all means pay it forward, pass it along, get the message of what we're talking about to the person that needs to hear it. Sometimes that is our goal, is to be the vessel where we take the message. Like you're like the emotional Pony Express. You pass it off to somebody else, they get it to where it's going to go to. Okay, but if you can remember those 4 things: be tenacious, refuse to surrender, obliterate your obstacles, and seek out help in a time of need, you are going to have a better than 50-50, better than 75%. I'll say that. We'll say better than 75%. You're going to have a much better chance of making it through the hard times, because everyone deserves to hear your story. Everyone deserves to get the experience of your wisdom and your experience of what you've gone through and everything like that. When you're not here, that's gone. So the next best thing we can do is just remember who these people were, remember their names, so that they do not go and fall into obscurity. Okay?
Nobody deserves to lose the gift of you in their life.
I like the way you put that, my man. So on that note, that's all I've got. I'm going to hand it off to Alamo. He's going to take care of all the social media plug-in and all that kind of stuff, and then we'll wrap it up from there. So,
as we mentioned with the social medias, we have a myriad of different places you can go ahead and catch us. If you'd like to communicate with us, we have a few different platforms you can do that on. One of them being Facebook, which is our Facebook page at facebook.com/battlebros.podcast, as well as the other made-up platform, Instagram, at battlebros_podcast. You can also do Twitter, aka X, formerly known as Twitter, excuse me, at battlebrospc. You can also message us on those platforms via the instant messenger platform that they have. You can private message us there, but if you really feel like there is something that you really need to talk about with us, whether it's about a friend, family member, or yourself, and you don't really want to get that information out there, one of your best bets, if not your best bet, to get in contact with us, because we do monitor all of these pretty much 24/7, is going to be our email, which is battlebrospc@gmail.com. That is, once again, battlebrospc@gmail.com. And you can send us a message over there. We'll respond. I mean, hell, if it's just like, hey, you need somebody to give you an encouraging message, or you just need somebody to kind of, give a message to whoever it is that's having these feelings, we'd be more than happy, and I mean more than happy, to go ahead and kind of talk whoever this individual is down, and or yourself or whatever, to keep as many of us around as possible. That's really the goal of this endeavor that we've kind of embarked on, is to do the best we can to kind of put an end to this plague that has kind of been affecting not just the military community, but the law enforcement, fire, all these guys, because for those of us that serve with all our hearts and serve in a capacity that requires so much of us, there's not a whole lot of, at least from my experience, not a whole lot of giving back. And I want to be, Mac and I want to be, one of those places where individuals, that like-minded individuals like ourselves, and people that are in law enforcement, fire, military, all that stuff, where I'm not going to really say a safe space, because I feel like that kind of just, I think that discourages people a lot. But it's you know what I mean?
A term just popped into my head: agents of change.
Boom. So once again, do please drop us some messages. Even if it's someone that even if you feel like you can message us, it doesn't matter. Just message us. Drop some communication. You can also catch us on the audio platforms. We're talking Spotify, Google, Amazon, all that good stuff, even iHeartRadio. We are on all the audios now, for the most part. You can also catch us over on Rumble. You can catch some of our previous episodes on there. For right now, I'm working on getting our most recents up. I'm probably going to end up having to just go through and download every episode and just upload it onto there manually, because the automatic upload feature has not been wanting to work for whatever reason.
The ball.
Yeah, so I'm going to have a lot of work to do. It's going to be a lot of catch-up work, but it'll be there for you guys.
We'll get into it. It's on the list.
It is on the agenda. But yeah, if you guys want to catch us on multiple different platforms, you can do that anywhere you listen to podcasts, and on the YouTube, as well as the Rumble.
So
like,
on
comment,
that
subscribe,
note, all that good stuff. So on that note, thanks again, everybody, for stopping by and giving a look or listen, whether it's live or whether it's after the fact. We appreciate you taking time to listen to our passion project. It is not about us. It is about the group, our portion of society, the vets, the military folks, the first responders, people that suffer from different things.
Correct.
My daughter asked me a while back, she goes, how many followers do you have? I'm like, I don't know. I got at least one. War Daddy was here tonight. I said, we got at least one. Woohoo! I said, honestly, that's not the most important thing. If we can stop somebody from becoming one of the 22, that's a hell of a lot more important. Like, if I ever met somebody and they say, you know what, I was going to be one of the 22, and I listened to your guys' show and I gave it some thought, and I said, you know what, they're right. The one with the big head, he scares children. The other one's good looking, but hey, they're a bit ham-bone-ish, but they got a good message, and they're absolutely right. I deserve to be here. I'm probably gonna lunge at that person and hug them, and just be like, hey man, lady, I love you, appreciate you, thank you for being here. This is validation for us. This is why we keep doing what we're doing. So
damn right.
That's going to be whenever that does happen, that's going to be a special moment. So
hell yeah, man.
But again, on that note, I want to thank everybody for stopping by, leaving the show, listen or watch or listen. We may not be here next week just because we have some stuff that we are going to be doing. earlier in the day on Friday. So there is a somewhat chance that we may not have an episode next Friday. Don't fret. Don't adjust your TV set or your computer or all that kind of stuff. It's going to depend on a couple of different things. We're going to an event in Orlando with his lovely wife, Tisha. It just depends on Orlando traffic. So, yeah, there's that variable there. That being said, we only have 2 episodes left until the end of season 4. When we hit the end of season 4, we're going to take a little bit of a break just because we're going to be getting close to school starting back up, getting the kids in their routines and all that kind of junk. So understand that we might just be gone for a little bit. Not going to be as long as it was last time with like the 6 months sabbatical and all that kind of crap.
That was due to mostly technical difficulties.
Technical and equipment issues. Yeah. So, but just look out for us. We're going to be back soon. So with 2 more episodes, we're going to wrap the 4th season, take a little break, enjoy what's left of summer, and then we'll get back to it when we can. But again, thank you everybody for stopping by. We appreciate you. We love you. And just remember, be tenacious, refuse to surrender, obliterate your obstacles, seek out help from a time of need. If you can do those 4 things, you're on the road to success. Okay. So we appreciate you. And thanks for stopping by. This has been episode 086 entitled Intrusive Thoughts of the Battle Bros podcast with Mac and Alamo. I'm Mac. That's Alamo. We'll see you next. We'll see you when we see you. So thanks for stopping by.
Battle Bros out.